me, Pollard matched up very well when he was with Zeke, because you had the power back and then you had the home run hitter. Um, so, I mean, I can't answer that just yet for me. I can't answer that.
Yeah, yeah. The jury's still out. The jury, it has they have the potential to be, but I just don't know. I don't know. That's a big question mark. Like I kind of know what the receiving room would look like, but as far as the run game, I got too many questions.
All right. All right. All right. So, what do you guys think about your offensive line? Like you said, it's a remake offensive line. Are we going back to the Cowboys of old with these young bucks out there? Do you think they have the skill to actually bring that greatness back to that offensive line? Because it hasn't been good the last couple of years. Hasn't been good the last couple of years. So do you think you guys got the right pieces? You got Guyton over there now, right? You guys drafted another first rounder too, didn't you? Offensive lineman over
Yeah.
there. How do you think these boys will fare up with you guys?
I'm confident in the interior between Smith, BB, and Booker. I'm comfortable with them. Steele, he looks better in the run game. And then Guyton is coming off a little tweak injury situation, whatever. Have not confirmed whether he'll be available Thursday or not. But I think we'll be all right. The thing is, the way the Cowboys work in some situations is they try to solve problems by the least aggressive method first and the safest method first. So they said, hey, let's rebuild the line. You know, we lost Travis Frederick a couple years ago. Zach just retired. Tyler Smith went to the Jets before he called it quits. You know, so we've been slowly losing guys. But one thing I appreciate and I applaud is they've been slowly adding guys. I think with the line, we're gonna be all right. I just don't know if the backfield can live up to the line, quite honestly.
You guys
Yeah,
gonna
like
add
I'm
to
gonna piggyback off of what he was saying is like we talked about with drafting, right? Outside of drafting offensive linemen, the Cowboys have a hard time struggling drafting anybody outside linemen for whatever reason. So I'm pretty confident with our offensive line, whether Guyton's there or not, that we'll be all right. But we'll just have to see because again, we didn't see really any of the starters in there. I have not got got to see this team play as a unit at least for one snap in the playoffs. You know, I mean not playoffs in the preseason. So I don't know what they're going to be like when they're out in the field, together this year.
I'm really mad about this whole preseason thing. Like, I used to like at least when you get to see at least a quarter, sometime a half. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you gotta edge these guys into the season. You know, you took away a preseason game, but now no one ever plays their stars in the preseason. That makes it a lot harder for us as fans to really understand what's going on with our football team offensively or defensively for that matter. We pretty much only see the guys that are like, second team, third team who's trying to make the roster type thing. And I think it's kind of unfair for us. I think we should be able to get at least a quarter out of the preseason from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Just a quarter. Either it's the first game, the second game. Just give me a quarter so I can see what I got on my football team for sure before I start running my mouth about it.
Agreed, agreed. Because I mean, even look, even your most top notch high performance vehicles, you could even use NASCAR if you want to. You still got to warm that bad boy up before you hit the track, no matter what's
Yeah.
under the hood. You know what I'm saying? Because again, we've seen anything can happen. We've seen guys go out week one countless times in the NFL, and what happens? Done for the season. Soft tissue. Tweak this,
Yeah.
pull that, tweak this, toward that. So, just I mean, I know they're practicing. drills, all that. I know they've been working out throughout the off season, but again, it ain't nothing like when you actually hit that grass between the lights. It's just it's a little bit different. I don't care how much you try to replicate it in practice, how much you try and recreate the game feel. Nothing
It's not
compares to
saying.
No,
period.
it's a different mindset and different speed when you get there into the game than what it is and
Yeah.
actually practice. I mean, practice is practice. It's there to prepare you for the game, but then once you get into game mode, again, it's a different mindset and a completely different speed than anything else. And just because you're working out or you're running or you're getting conditioning on your hamstrings on your muscles, whatever, like I said, it's a different speed and you're moving differently in these games than what you would be in practice. So
Facts. How do you guys feel about the Eagles now in terms of the run game? Saquon Barkley, top 100. I told everybody it's going to be dramatic change at the beginning of the season last year when you throw a guy like Saquon Barkley behind this offensive line. And you see what happened there. He totally dominated. It was amazing. I loved it. Um, how do you guys feel about the Saquon in our offensive line? How do you guys match up against it?
You go ahead first.
you got your whole. To be honest with you, I couldn't tell you about your offensive line. Did anybody leave? Did y'all get everyone back?
The only one we lost was Becton. But we had Steen the whole time. You know what I'm saying? He was supposed to be the guy, Steen. So Steen was starting last year. Then Becton, we took back Becton from the Jets. He was just too big, too physical. Then, that's when we let him run with it. But Becton got signed to a big contract with San Diego Chargers, and we got Steen from Alabama.
Question for you.
So
What's up with Landon?
What was that?
What's up with Landon? Is he good?
Dickerson, man, Dickerson's is a dinosaur, man. He's old school football, Is he good? What's good for him? He can have a twisted ankle and be good. You look at the playoff run last year, his back was destroyed, and he kept playing the whole playoff run. You know what I'm saying? Him and Jerky both went out there and played. So if you hear around the league, like he's full practice. I looked at the injury report here, and it said, if I'm not mistaken, he was full practice today. Do I have it on here? Yeah, full practice. Yeah, everybody was full practice except for Tanner McKee. So yeah, he's full practice. He's full go. If they do decide to take it easy, because he did have a back incident, I guess in practice yesterday. If they do, Brett Toth will be the starter. You know what I'm saying? Brett Toth. He's been on our team. Another guy that's been on our team for the last 5 years. Came in as spot start for players when they got hurt. He don't really miss a beat with Brett Toth either. He's not Landon Dickerson, obviously, but he's definitely still good.
But what I will say about this, about Saquon going against the Cowboys, that was your question. We're gonna have to see because again, we just got Kenny Clark. Don't know how that defensive line is gonna be against the run. Three-time Pro Bowler. Finally got a run stopper on the line. Something we've been missing for I couldn't even tell you how many years, right?
As I'm looking up at a picture of Antoine Woods in the studio.
We're gonna have to see with how this defensive line for the Cowboys is gonna hold up against Saquon, because Saquon's gonna be Saquon, right? He's gonna get what he's gonna get. He's a great runner. He's a great talent, right? I mean, he is what he is. So we're gonna see what this new addition with Kenny Clark on the defensive line is gonna be like. So again, I can't really answer that question because we just got Kenny Clark. So I need to see what this defensive and that goes back to preseason, right? We don't get to see our starters and none of that to be running our mouths. So what y'all are gonna see is I'm gonna see Thursday night, and then we can have the jury out. Jury's gonna be out then, right? At that point. So
right. Let's go to receivers, guys. Like I know I talked to Boys for Life about this. You guys always had a number 2 receiver. I feel like when you looked at Cooper, Brooks, was it Brooks? No, what's the name? Cooks.
Cooks. Yeah.
Cooks.
Yeah.
How big of a bigger impact do you think you'll be having Pickens on those roster this year?
I get the salivating. Well, before I answer that, let me answer this as far as the line and the run game for y'all.
Oh yeah, you did it.
I believe your line is going to be solid. I believe Saquon again is going to be Saquon. I do, however, like, I was down for a second, but once I looked at compensation and I really began to look at the football possibilities of the Micah Parsons trade, initially, yes, a strength has been weakened, but a weakness has been strengthened. And I honestly believe that our pass rush and our defensive line pursuit will be different. I don't think it'll be worse. Don't think it'll be better. I think it'll be different. And I think the difference by having that push in the middle from a Clark will help make everybody else's job better.
Yeah.
And when you look at the edges as far as Fowler and Nealon, those two individuals, I believe, are very disciplined in their pursuit. They'll maintain the edge. I believe that's what got us in a lot of trouble last year. Guys just being too greedy, rushing to the inside, you know what I'm saying? And then, whoop, runner goes right past them. Ole, I think that's how we'll be different. If we can keep Saquon under 150, good.
150, Jesus.
If we can keep him,
if he gets to 150, the game gonna be over, my God.
Listen,
is he already at 150? The game gonna be over.
125. That's better. If we keep him under a buck, you probably can kiss the baby. Real talk. That's just how I'm looking at it. And I think we'll with having Clark, and then we got Murray now and Leofow. Eberflus is the linebacker whisperer. I'm confident in his abilities. The same way y'all kind of feel about Fangio is kind of the same way I feel about Eberflus as far as the linebacker room is concerned. You know what I'm saying? I was
going to ask you that. How do you guys feel about your new defensive coordinator?
I think that middle is going to be stout. I got some question marks as far as coverages and movements and things of that nature, but the linebacker room, I ain't even worried about it. And it could be, even occasionally throwing Sanborn in the mix, and a couple other guys. I think we'll be all right as far as that's concerned. I don't think the run game is going to be an onslaught like people think. I think we're going to challenge y'all better than we did last year. I'll say that.
Y'all got swept last year, so hopefully you guys can bring it back to the split in the division games. Because I feel like another sweep is coming. But I'm very good. You got to be hyped.
What I'm going to give y'all credit on, and just looking at last year, and this is super credit. I don't know if I've even heard anybody say it. I don't even know if I heard y'all say it. But truth be told, y'all didn't lose a game last year under full strength. Because in the beginning, AJ was out. Yeah. And then you had Smitty was out for a little hot second too, right? And then Hurts was out the last 3 games. That's the only time y'all took an L is when you weren't at full strength. So that's just a testament to the squad last year. I hate Philly. Y'all know what it is, but at the same time, I'm also a footballer and a realist. You know what I'm saying? I was like, God damn, that's because I was like, just trying to find tape to look to see where the weaknesses were exposed. I couldn't do it in the pure form that I wanted to because it was like, okay, well, they were down this big, heavy person, in the lineup.
They went like 16 and 17 after the bye week. 16 and 17. 16 out of 17 games. We lost that one in Washington. Yeah. And they hurt Jalen Hurts with that whatever hit from Lulu. And he was out in the third quarter.
Yeah.
And that was like the only ones that was the only game we lost. And people don't realize too, we dominated a lot of games where our backups played a lot of football last year. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of games in the third and fourth quarter we had backups playing because the games are already out of hand. So it's gonna be a nice. It just feels good to be Eagles fan. Let's just say
So
that it
look,
feels good to
I
be
know
Eagles.
I'm late to the party. I don't know if the question was asked,
Let's go with it.
but how are you feeling about that secondary against the dynamic duo?
To be honest, like I told her before, like I look at it like this. Slay was great. You know, we're gonna miss him. I feel like we should have paid him the 10 million to keep him for one more year. If all he wants to play is one more year. You know, we should have just gave him the 10 million, whatever.
And give y'all
Rogers, I feel like
the work. Yeah.
if you didn't give Slade the money, you should have gave it to Rogers, right? You should have gave it to Rogers, give him the what? He got $5-6 million to go to Minnesota to be their starting cornerback. So I'm like sitting there like, huh. And then I look at, we got Adoree Jackson, which I'm a huge USC fan, so I love Adoree Jackson personally. He hasn't really showed his super potential in the NFL or whatnot, but I do
Right.
see quality of a starter, obviously, throughout his career. Then we all really were banking on Ringo. I think that's what the thing was. We had all these Georgia Eagle, Bulldog, what I'm saying, Philly dogs on the team. And we are like, okay, now it's just he's the last piece out of the Philly dogs that need to come up, step up, and start.
Bro, I live in Georgia, dog. So with every dog pick y'all took, I was like,
Damn, another one.
damn.
Yeah. I'll be up there a lot. I'll be going to that Rocky Mountain Pizza and watch my Eagles games up there. It's pretty late over there. But
Matter of
yeah,
fact,
so
a little
and
little
then we
little
got Bennett from the Raiders. So that was another cat that needed some time. So I don't know. I feel like that the development of Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, because even Cooper DeJean right now still gets reps on the outside. I think he's our safety blanket if we have to go that route. I think Vanchu doesn't want to go that route because he's such a great look. He made the top 100 players as a nickel cornerback. When did that ever happen? You know what I'm saying? Like he's a beast at the nickel and safety, and I think he don't want to have to use him at the other cornerback spot. But right now, I think it's Adoree Jackson and
don't forget
Bennett
about
from the
Jordan
Raiders.
Lewis. Man. Don't forget about J. Lou.
It's Yeah, it's their
Hey,
job to lose, man. And I
just
feel
them
like right now that
injured.
they gonna hold it down. I feel like they can really hold it down there. I think Adoree. I want Adoree to hold it down, but watching Bennett from the Raiders, like he locked out a lot of top flight receivers last year. In the 10 games he started. What I'm saying, he shut Jamar Chase down. He's the best receiver in football. One of the best receivers in football besides AJ and JJ. So I feel like he has the capabilities of being a star. He's young, he's talented, he's fast. I want him to steal the spot from Adoree Jackson, but right now I think we're fine with Adoree Jackson leading the way if that's what we do on Thursday night.
Okay.
How do you guys see it happening?
As far as the wide receivers going up against those DBs,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's. I like it. I like it because CD is kind of hard to blanket. Like it's kind of hard to get him, cover him one on one. I mean, especially when he's in
Until
the
you go to
slot.
Quick Combo Bay.
I like him when he's in the slot. They got to move him around a little bit, but it's going to be hard to double him and then try to stop Pickens, in my opinion. And then not only do you have Pickens to deal with, I think Turpins is going to come into his own at some point. I mean, as with the trick plays or whatever it is with him, you're gonna have to keep eyes on him because he is fast, he is agile. But I think that y'all secondary is gonna have a little bit of a hard time, especially since again we didn't see anybody in the preseason, none of our starters. So, and we talked about game speed is a lot different when it's time for game time, and CD's already been proven. Pickens has been proven. You got a lot of guys that are still, like you said, trying to reach that level, to where you're comfortable. So I think the Cowboys on the wide receiver side is gonna be a little bit better than the DBs over there, and I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, I the obvious is CD and Pickens, right? But
Yeah.
even after that, you still got to deal with Jake Ferguson. You still will have to deal with Cavante Turpin. That you talking about speed? That's speed right there. And he's got some solid hands, and the guy's physical. I expect Shoddy to use him in the passing game, but I expect them to use him also. It's kind of a gadgety player, if you will. I hope it's not the same simple reverses that we saw from McCarthy last year, but remember this name. You heard it here. Ryan Flournoy. He is a big body receiver. We've been playing musical chairs since last week, but we released him, and then I was furious because to me, in my eyes, he was the best receiver that I saw in training camp. And again, good frame, good size, pretty decent speed. And I believe he could possibly play a big role this week, especially with Jonathan Mingo being injured to start the season.
So they actually brought him to the 53-man roster. So he's on it for this week.
Not yet.
Not yet. All right.
But I believe it's possible.
That's like what you just said. Like, I'm not worried. To be honest, on a receiver game, the only one I am worried about is Pickens. The other guys, like I said, slot's locked down. You know what I'm saying? We got the best slot in football as a rookie last year. That's Cooper DeJean. You know, he plays the tight ends, he plays the receivers in the slot. They did say Quinion's gonna travel more this year than he did last year. So if Lambs try to switch that slot, I'm pretty sure you're gonna see Quinion follow him there. Our safety Blankenship is he's still a good safety. We look at Makuba to take over that whole, CJ DJ position, which I think healthy he can do this year. It's gonna take him a game or two, I think, but he's gonna be one of those guys that make plays but actually give up a couple plays in the beginning, first couple of games of the season because he is a rookie. But I'm not really worried about the Ferguson, like the middle of the field type stuff. I'm really worried about the outside. You know what I'm saying? Like the outside when Pickens is on the outside against a short ass Adoree Jackson. You know what I'm saying? When Pickens is on the outside, we don't got Ringo. Ringo's big, physical, tall. We wanted him to start because of his, athleticism, his height, his size. You know what I'm saying? And since he hasn't started yet, we're still like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? Like, goddamn you, Ringo. But if he were to start or if he were to play, because I think even Bennett from the Raiders isn't that tall. He's another one of those 6 foot cornerbacks. So that's the biggest thing. And Pickens, because I feel like they haven't had enough good quarterbacks in Pittsburgh to really show his full potential. And everybody knows Dak Prescott's a regular season, god. You know what I'm saying? He's coverage time stats or whatever stats you want to call it. In the regular season, he is the man. You know what I'm saying? In terms of throwing that football when he's healthy. And a guy like Pickens that can, make one-handed catches, contested catches. He's deep ball guy. He's a short yard guy. He can do whatever you want him to do, especially since he's not the main target like he was in Pittsburgh. He's going to be the number 2 here, behind a guy like Lamb, man. Like, he really can carve up some things, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just, like I said, Adoree, Bennett, you got your test, your first week test. So whoever starts this game out of Adoree, Bennett, I don't think Ringo's in the race to start no more. It's out of Adoree and Bennett right now. And whoever starts, if they start getting lit up, this is going to be the last start for the season for sure. Because the other guy will have to play.
Let me ask you this. How confident are you? You mentioned guys playing last year. How confident are you in your defensive line depth? As far as and really I want to, as far as the endurance aspect endurance factor as far as I mean, because when y'all out there, it's one of the better lines in the league, arguably. But when guys need to take a timeout or a play or two off or whatever, how confident are you in the guys who will replace them?
More than last year, I'm more confident, I would say. In terms of defensive line, just because, hey, Jalen Carter did not miss a snap last year. He played every down. You know what I'm saying, on defense. Every down. As a second year player. Dominant. But I feel like you might want to take him out a couple of games to keep that energy going. And I think the development of, like I said, we were talking about earlier, Jordan Davis developing at the end of last season, going to the playoffs, getting a couple of sacks now, and even going into the offseason, losing some more weight, being more athletic. Even like Jalen Carter's like he's even faster than I am right now. And they have a man that size who automatically gets double teamed just for his size alone. You know what I'm saying? Forget a skill thing. Just his size is a double team. And now you're adding more pass rush in there. I think in the playoffs he had like 2.5, 3 sacks last playoff. And that's something we didn't see from him for years. We were waiting to see that side of Jordan Davis. But like I tell people, it took Fletcher Cox a while before he got 10 sacks in the season. You know what I'm saying? But he was still one of the best defensive linemen in the game. I think that's how it is with Jordan Davis. And then you got Moro Ojomo, who also played Booker. I mean, it was Moro Ojomo and Gabe Hall. They both played last year on our team. You know what I'm saying? They both had their minutes. They both produced when they played. Everybody gives it to Milt Williams for being that third guy that kind of stepped up to become the number two. But I really feel like Moro Ojomo is just it's the same. It's no difference. I don't feel like the Milt Williams, Moro Ojomo, that's that position right there. That's a flush for losing and keeping. You give him one more snaps than he had last year, he's going to produce the same way he did because he was another guy came playoff time. Moro Jomo has playoff sacks. You know what I'm saying? Have playoff pressures that we needed from our defensive line. So I don't really feel like the defensive line can step back, even though you lose a guy like Josh Sweat, but then you replace him with a Jalen Hunt who had even better playoff than Josh Sweat. You know what I'm saying? He was a young rookie who's coming into his second year into the defense, who had a better playoff than Josh Sweat, who led our team in sack last year. You got Nolan Smith coming back, even stronger, who really showed up after BG went down, who came in, and showed that he deserved to be here. And then you got, even Ty Robinson, the Vanilla Rhino, they call him the Vanilla Rhino. That guy right there is beasting people. Even Jalen Carter's giving him praise right now. So I think our line's gonna be great, and I think it might even be better than last year because I feel like we're faster, more younger, more excited to get there. You know what I'm saying? Like I just love the whole approach of our whole team, but even our defensive linemen. Like it's just this year, no one was satisfied with that Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like this ain't 2017 or when we won a Super Bowl and everybody was on their high horse thinking we were the best. They're not even coming out for banner drop this game. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys really put that shit to the back and said, this is a whole new season and we got to do it all over again. Like they got that whole dog mentality, like put it to behind us and we're going to go out there and win another one type mentality because we got the stars on this team to do it. When you got 10 top 100 players on your team, you know what I'm saying? Like from the players go, you got something to mess with. It's up to them. Like I feel like for the last 3 years, the Eagles, the only people that really beat the Eagles are the Eagles. And we beat ourselves when we lose games. It's never been really. I can't really recall in the last 3 years too many games where it's like, oh, that team was that much better than us. They just slaughtered us. They just kicked our ass. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always been us doing stupid stuff, doing things, giving up the game at the late in the end of the game. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that that really, contributed to our losses.
So interesting fact. So I'm here in Georgia, and Nolan Smith is a local. He went to high school partially here. Um, Even closer than that, my first cousin and his father are first cousins. Like
What?
so he was presented the key to the city here over the summer. He had a golf tournament locally. Um So yeah, he's kind of the hometown favorite. So it's kind of like when y'all won, it's kind of almost like being in. For me, it's kind of almost like being in y'all city and just having to see it because it was up front and in my face. So that's why, I mean, at the end of the day, y'all still Philly, but for me, that's why it's a little bit more motivation, just because it's in my face. I can't turn anymore.
Within our Eagle applications, guys. If you guys, I know a lot of people said when the Michael Parsons trade happened, they don't want to be Cowboy fans no more. We got Eagle applications. You can come over to the real side and be Eagle fans if you guys like. But like one of them said, ask you guys, say, well, how do you guys feel about your defensive line? Yeah, Mozzie Smith. Everybody's like, oh, he's gonna be better than Jalen Carter coming out.
Fuck no.
All these guys in that defensive line compared to, the Eagles defensive line. Like, how do you feel about that defensive line?
I'm gonna let you go first.
I know you didn't see it this year, you guys said, but like, you guys know what you got there and how you feeling about it.
Y'all's defensive line or our defensive line?
You guys defensive line.
I'm appreciative of Kenny Clark. I'm gonna tell you that much. Like needed it now. Like this. I'm not saying it just because it's cool and because Michael's going. I was saying it all summer long with the rest of the content creators, Boss Cowboy, Lose Takes, HTM, Landlord, Big Time Show. We were all battling for one take over the course of the summer. So yeah, I know the way we got it was a little funky, but nonetheless, I can't be screaming and preaching all summer, and then we finally get what I've been asking for, and then I poo-poo on it. I can't do that. So I'm grateful for him. I looked at the tape, y'all playing him last year just to see how he did. He did a pretty decent job, and considering the fact that he was dealing with a foot injury, because a couple of times he got double teamed, he got pushed. He did. You could tell he was kind of off balance. He was just trying not to have that weight pressured on that foot, but he had surgery back in January. He's supposed to be healthy now. I believe that will, because I'm a former LB, and I always say you can't hit what you can't see. And so now the fact that we got some beef up front who will possibly be able to negate that push and those combos and double teams from y'all, it's going to make life for my linebackers a lot easier. And the thing with Saquon, incredible athlete, great back, but when you can get up on him before he gets up on you, you have a much higher chance of success. If you can get penetration, as I feel we will, you can make him hesitate, you can make him pivot or select another hole. Now you're allowing time for more help to arrive to the scene. So I think that's how this defense will be better. The defensive line will be better than last year. I know a lot of people are concerned about the pass rush aspect, right? If what I'm hearing is true, and Diggs will be on the field week 1, I'm not really worried about that pass rush, because the way the NFL is getting now, and as quickly as they're training quarterbacks to get the ball out their hand, sometimes pass rush can be negated just off of scheme alone. So I honestly believe, even without Michael, because Fowler had an incredible year last year, we can't poo-poo on that. Nealon is getting better, stronger, and he's developing his pass rush. I honestly believe we can get a couple of coverage sacks, if you will, just based on our guys potentially being able to mask your receivers up, even for a little while, to allow some time to get back.
You had me for a while. Then you lost me with that whole your guys. You know what receivers we have on our team? AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. AJ Brown, the best one-on-one receiver in the game in the last 4 years. Devontae Smith, the Slim Reaper, who always open too. Like, that's a tall task. And your boy Diggs is coming off of injury. You know what I'm saying? There were even questions that he was going to even start or not at her. So I feel like like this is what I'm saying. When I really talk to you guys about your team, it's more about the future of your team this year as opposed to this first game. Like maybe even the second game might be a little bit more interesting. I really feel like the last minute trade for Parsons, even with a Clark, he's only what 4 days in, 3 days in. He's not gonna be freaking ready to roll, come game one. You know what I'm saying? This is more for the future of the Cowboys. The Eagles are locked in, my guy. Like we have the best. Like we might be the only team I've ever remember. Like we're pretty much the best at every position. There's really not too many positions that we're not the best. Like we got the number one running back in the game. You know what I'm saying? He was just voted top 100 by all his peers. Number one. I feel like we got the number one quarterback in the game. This arguably, people say Burrows, people say Allen, people say Patty, people say, Burrow, Lamar. But I think Jalen's the best. He does what he has to do when he has to do it. We got the best receiver duo. Some people might say Chase and Higgins, but I think Devontae and Smitty are better. Like these guys are just. We got the best offensive line. I know no one gets to really battle that. Like even with a Becton going, Becton wasn't even a starter before last year. We just pulled him off of a team. It was like, hey, you don't want your first round pick. He sucks in your team. Bring him on our team. He's so big and physical. We're gonna make him a starting guard. He played tackle before came over here. You know what I'm saying? We brought him over here. You're our starting guard. You're gonna be the best. He went off, got a big paycheck, whatever. So I'm not really worried about offensive line. Dowling University is like the best university to go to if you're an offensive lineman. Like I don't know, man. I just got a little uneasy a little bit there. Like I don't really feel like no one can stop AJ for real like that. Like not even Diggs. But I feel like Guantanamo Bay is a real thing because he went through a whole season, as a rookie and shut down all the top, even your boy Lamb shut down all the top receivers all year long. And he's only gonna get better this year, his second year, and Vic Fangio's defense. Plus you got Cooper DeJean, which I don't know how Cooper DeJean gets more love. It's talked about way more than Quinyon Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of weird to me. Kind of like don't understand that. Like, how does what I'm saying? Like everybody talk about Cooper DeJean. You don't really hear too much about Quinyon. Quinyon put it down, and at the end of last year, he learned how to intercept the football. I think that's the biggest difference from making him, a good shutdown corner. You got to be able to take the ball away. And I think those first 15 games, he didn't have an interception. He didn't have an interception until playoffs. So it's like if he can incorporate that, which he's been doing in practice so far. And that's the thing with us. Did you guys have joint practices this year?
Yeah, we did with the Rams.
Rams.
Were you guys able to see those ones though? Like I didn't. I know I didn't look at it, but were you guys able to watch any of those or whatnot?
No, I didn't. I don't watch any of them.
Yeah,
watch it.
I saw a handful of clips.
Yeah. No, they were clips. They weren't like the actual practice itself. It was just like a clip here and there, but
more so highlights than anything.
Yeah.
Because with that, like you can see, but then you said like Diggs was even out then too, wasn't he out most of that time too?
Yeah, Diggs has been out since last year.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We hadn't been able to put two things together, man. Like as much as we've been wanting to see Bland and Diggs, it just really hadn't happened like that. One or the other was out, So I'll be interested. I'll be interested to see that. I hate the fact that we lost J. Lou, but I think we'll be all right.
Yeah.
So let's go to the matchup, like we said. Now we're talking about running game. How do you guys take our linebackers? Because I think the Eagles for a long time we didn't have linebackers. You know what I'm saying? Like that just for some reason we couldn't draft them, we couldn't get them. We always had these undersized guys that weren't doing the job. And now all of a sudden we got this big guy, Zach Bond. We can drafted Campbell, from Alabama. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is playing great. You know what I'm saying? And then we have one more linebacker. Oh, Kobe Dean, who's hurt. should be back. After the first 4 weeks. Week 5 he should be back. So how do you guys feel about our linebacking core as a whole? But then even like, have you guys seen anything about Campbell? How you like what Campbell's doing, and how do you think your run games will fare up against them?
I think Campbell will do all right. I believe he'll get better as the season progresses. But let me ask you this: is he healthy?
Yeah,
Okay.
he has not missed a practice since we started off-season workouts. Everybody said that because even I remember our defense coordinator Big Banjo in the very beginning of preseason or the off season, he was like, "Yeah, we don't know. We're not going to get Jacoby for a while, but we might not even get Campbell for a while." That's why Jeremiah Trotter had a lot of the snaps. But since
Uh,
preseason game 1, he's been out there terrorizing people. He's given 3 of our players so far concussions. Dallas Goddard got a concussion from him. The fullback we got, Bam Bam Thurin, got a concussion. The fullback got a concussion from him. We've been getting mad at him, telling him he needs to ease up on our players. That's how much of a beast he's been this offseason. Plus, in the preseason games, he's been getting sacks and pressures like none other. They say he could be like the next Micah Parsons. I don't know. I'm not one to throw names out. Like for me, Ricky's got to go prove it. You got to be. Got to go out there and prove it first.
Yeah,
You
you're
know what I'm
hoping to be
saying?
the next Michael Parsons.
yeah. Hey, like my boy Ball said, hey, show me, man. Show
You gotta
me.
go show me. But the dude's a beast, and think he comes from Alabama. He's a beast, Georgia, Alabama. Well, that's all we got
I
on our
want
football
it.
team, man.
I
We went
want
out
it.
and got Mechie on our team. We went out and dropped Baker on our team. We got like 11 Bama players and 11 Georgia Bulldog players, which is smart if you're a GM. That's what you should have did because they're the best 2 teams in college football.
Howie got it tight. Yeah.
All right.
Howie, he
But the thing
definitely
is, we
tight.
begged Howie for years. For years, he would not draft an SEC player. He was just not down with the hype. He was like, nah, just because they're hyped up. Because I don't know what he really thought, but he was not down with drafting none. We went draft until Devontae Smith is when we changed everything. Until Devontae Smith, when we changed everything. We got Devontae Smith in that first round, that changed everything. And then since then, what I'm saying, we've been like lighting him up with the. And if you see now, he became the best GM in football. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't rocket science. You go to the best schools and pick the best players off the best teams. That's all you got to do in the draft. That's what the draft's there for, literally. And so you can go get the best player for the best school. But a lot of times, nowadays in the draft, you be seeing these people hype up somebody from a D3 school that had amazing stats. And the D3 Carson Wentz, for example. You know what I'm saying? Like North Dakota State. Who the fuck ever watched a North Dakota State game in their life? You know what I'm saying? Like no one ever watched North Dakota State, my guy. Like we don't care about that school. We care about the big
Hey,
dogs, the Alabama,
in
the
all
Georgia,
honesty,
the Miami, the Florida. We don't
in
care
all
about no
honesty, I went to go see my nephew. Shout out to him. I went to go see him, and he played for South Dakota State. Bruh, it was definitely all love because nothing else would have brought me there. Like, and he was cool. He was nice. He was a nice player. Like, a couple of his teammates, they did make it to the league, but it's like, yeah, the competition level is definitely far
It's not the
less.
same,
Every now and
man.
then you get your diamonds in the rough, but the vast majority, yeah, nah.
Yeah, man. So, and it's just to make that one difference, that's really like set our team apart from what it used to be. It's just that one change. Just change your mindset where you want to get your players from. Forget who's the fastest from the small school. Forget who you think have talent from these small. We pick Jalen Rager over Justin Jefferson. Like, what kind of ridiculous shit is that? You know what I'm saying? Because
I'm
he's supposed to fit the prototype.
glad you
You
did.
know? I bet you were glad that year we did. You know what I'm saying? Because imagine we had JJ right now. Oh, JJ, AJ, and Devontae. Oh, Lord.
Imagine if
Oh,
you had
Lord.
JJ, you probably
One guy
wouldn't
you guys
have.
do need to worry about is Dotson this year. I will tell you that. Because I really feel like this first game right now, like, especially I'm a betting man too. I always betting on FanDuel and all that other stuff. Everybody's going to really be putting their money on Saquon. They're going to be putting their money on AJ. They can put their money on Devontae. But I think, dude, for real, this might be a Jahan Dotson game. To be honest with you, Dallas got a Jahan Dotson game because you do have a Diggs, and if Diggs is healthy, I know AJ is the man, but he's gonna lock him down. You know what I'm saying? Some of the time, they both win. Whenever you got two good corner, a good receiver, they kind of lock each other down. You know what I'm saying? Like, where yeah, you might make a play here, but you're gonna miss a play there. And Jalen Hurts isn't that quarterback. If you looked at everybody hates on Jalen Jarvis last year, but he was the best in terms of quarterback percentage he's ever been last year, 69%. You know what I'm saying? When he made plays with the ball. It wasn't no little dink and dunk. The thing is, he didn't throw that much, but when he did throw, they were dots and dimes. You know what I'm saying? For like good yards and stuff like that. So I really feel like this year, Jahan Dotson, it took till Jalen was out those last 3 games of the season when Tanner McGee came in, and he had like what 300 yards passing or something like that. And Jahan was his number one guy. Kenny Pickard
Yeah.
came in, Jahan's number one guy. You know what I'm saying? It took to Jalen to see that he could actually be that guy. And they worked this offseason together. And now they're locked in together. And I think from that point on, you see them that first playoff game last year in Green Bay, boom, touchdown, Jahan Dotson. You see the Super Bowl, which should have been a touchdown, Jahan Dotson. He was down at the 1 yard line. You know what I'm saying? And I think they carry that over to this year. And I think if you're a betting man, I would put some money like Jahan Dotson have a good game this year. Because who is you guys' third cornerback? Yeah.
I really don't know how they. I think it's gonna be Elam.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be Elam, and if it's Elam, we'll be all right. I'm not now. I do believe, for the same reasons that I said, Turpin and Flournoy may get off, and Fergie is the same reason I believe you may be right as far as Dotson is concerned.
Yeah.
I really do. I think both teams gonna be focused on the key
week.
players so much, the stars so much. It's gonna be them unsung heroes who are gonna make this game.
Yeah. Definitely. Like you said, Turpin's a guy I watch out for. I really think he's gonna make an impact in the special team. There's one
I,
weakness about it. The special team is somewhere where you can make a big impact. And I think Turpin can definitely
yeah.
I'm gonna say
come
this
in there.
before I gotta go, especially since you brought up the special teams. Watch for Turpin. I think he's gonna be the X factor. When we do get those punts, to get the Eagles a punt to flip that side of the ball for the field for us to get us in a better field position to get that score. Because I mean, look, it is what it is. Cowboys have trouble scoring once they get inside the 20. No matter who the coach is, no matter who the quarterback is, it's been like that for years. But I think, watch for Turpin to either get a touchdown this year, either the kick return or a punt return. But he's going to be a big X factor for that special teams to help the offense have a better field position when we do get those punts. So, but
Before
I
we
got
get
to
out
go.
of here,
For work
boys
tomorrow.
life,
You what?
give me 3 hot takes and your score prediction before we get out of here.
Hot takes. Kenny Clark is going to help the Dallas Cowboys stop that run game and have Saquon under 110 this game. Watch for watch for Pickens to be the X factor in this game right here, as far as on the opposite side of the ball. Even though he is new to the Cowboys, I think Eagles know what CeeDee Lamb is like, and how well he can be, how well he plays. And I know they've all seen George Pickens, but I think watch Pickens. You can't double both of them, right? You can't cover both of them. Watch Pickens to have, I don't know, about 95 plus yards this year with this game with a touchdown. And I'm gonna give the Cowboys the win, 34-31.
Oh my God, that was horrible. That's the most
Hey,
horrible
look,
thing I
we're gonna
heard.
be in a shootout. We're going to be in a shootout, in my opinion. I mean, we haven't seen this defense without Parsons, right, this year. Well, we haven't seen any of our starters this year on the defense side of the ball. But I think Kenny Pickens is going to, or Kenny Clark, not Pickens, Kenny Clark is going to help this team on the run, on the offense. I mean, stopping the run, which will make Jalen Hurts throw the ball a lot more or take off for runs. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have about 50, 60 yards in rushing when he runs the ball and he got to take off the run. So, but that's all I got. I got to get ready for work in the morning. So y'all have
All
a
right,
good
but
one.
hey, thanks for coming out of retirement for me, my guy. You always there in the clutch. If you want to come back out, you know that we're still waiting for you, my guy. Get back out there and make the videos.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all have a good one. Later.
Hold it down, man.
Right.
Take care.
Yes, sir. You too. Bye.
Big Simple, I know you did not just come in here talking smack, talking about Cowboys winning 30-27, and you're a Commanders fan. Come on, my guy. Come on.
I think it's gonna be a lot closer than what people think, man. I really do. It has the potential to be a lot closer. The newness, the freshness. I'm anxious to see how Patullo steps into this new role too. I'm curious to see because we obviously we know who Kellen Moore is, and he was in essence made to lie down in green pastures and hand that damn ball off to Saquon last year, But I'm curious to see how he does transitioning, into his new role. I'm curious to know what the game flow looks like. It's a lot I'm gonna be looking for.
If your offense is different this year, right?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, we changed every coach with the exception of our tight end coach, and that was Lunda Wells and Shoddy. Everybody else is brand spanking. So we got Eberflus from Chicago. We got Sorensen. It's a whole lot of fresh cats, some new ideas. So it's going to be interesting to see how they attempt to scheme this game, where they feel their strengths are. And I really want to see Shoddy if he really bought that life and he's going to be committed to the run game, even if it's not successful. A lot of times last year, Mike McCarthy, he'll try it 2-3 times. It don't look like how he want. We bombed it out the rest of the game. I don't want to lose that. I believe we got to keep y'all honest by doing this. I believe Dak Prescott is at his best when he's the beneficiary of a play action game. That's just what it is.
It's just everybody. Like, I know the league is turning into a pass happy league, but one has like the most guy with the most passing yards won a Super Bowl. Like, it's not a winning formula just because it's more exciting for the fans. That's why you think the Eagles been so dominant recently. We run the football. Yeah, even in the beginning of the season, we start passing too much. What the fans do? Run the ball, and they stop and they run the football. You got to run the football no matter what. And I really feel like you give these guys, Booby Miles, you give what's the other guy you guys that got over there, Williams or whatever. You give these guys rock, man, with some open lanes. They can make some things happen, man. I've seen Booby have the most, rushing yards, 70+ yards in the season before Saquon just destroyed that. I've seen him do it on our team, and I think that's another thing that people need to watch out for because he already said that every game against the Eagles is personal. We didn't want to pay him. He's mad about it. His career, he went and got paid somewhere else, but his career went down the tube. Now he's with the Cowboys for a reason. He want to come back and show the Eagle what time it is. And I can't blame him. If I was about to say the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't want to pay me, watch what I do to you. And I don't remember exactly which running back it was. But I remember there was also this running back that it didn't matter. Whenever they played a certain team was when they went off. I think that might be a thing with Booby. I'm not saying he's going to be your star throughout the season. I think
just he got the chip on
yeah, when he sees that green on the other side of the field, that's going to make him do his thing. I do got him a couple parlays, hoping that Booby does have a decent game. If
Hey, man, get that bread, man. Get that bread.
you know what I'm saying? So it's just one of the things where it's just like, logically speaking, you look at the teams, you think the Eagles should blow them out. And I really think that this is going to be not, maybe not a complete blowout. I think Eagles always start out the first game of the season all right until like halftime. That's when they kind of like pull away. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at the Green Bay last year, it wasn't no straight blowout. You know, in Brazil, that was a tough fought game. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That we had to win out there. So it's just like I don't really feel like even with the loss of Micah Parsons because Micah never really did nothing against us anyway. You know, like even when he was there, like what he had like 1, 2 sacks on Lane ever. Like Lane really hasn't gave up a real sack in what 4 years now. So it's like he did a little, but he didn't really do much. You know what I'm saying? I think it is a different dynamic having a guy like Clark that actually can stop a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like when we drafted Jordan Davis, he stopped the problem for us. There's
The
a
thing
run
with
game
Micah
up the middle.
is,
It's not
yeah,
happening.
the thing with Micah is a lot of his contributions don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. Because at the end of the day, you still got to account for him. You still got to slide to him. You still may need to chip him. So you have to
Yeah.
allocate resources to that young man. So even though he might not necessarily show up on the play sheet, it just makes everybody's job a little easier. The same way it's to me, it's apples to
With Jalen
oranges.
Carter, 'cause I'm a huge Eagle fan, right? But I'm not so 100% like everybody else is with Jalen Carter. I love Jalen. But I want to see some numbers, goddammit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see some sacks. If you this guy as you supposed to be, Aaron Donald says you're the next him. You say you're the next Aaron Donald. Well, what does Aaron Donald do? He gets sacks. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if you didn't compare him to him, I probably would be like, damn, he's an awesome defensive tackle. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Because I never really cared that Flex you get the sacks like that.
This is what, year 3 for him?
Yeah. I want
He
to see
should
the
be looking to
complete.
his own. Yeah, he
Yeah.
should be.
I want to see the
I mean,
complete package this year.
because honestly and truthfully, it's not. It's only a handful, minus a couple, of D tackles that come in the league and make an impact instantly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's one of those you got to grow into. You got to get your grown man strength on. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot to be able to learn and understand the nuances. From the collegiate level to the NFL level. How guys have gotten so much better from that jump with their handwork. They're stronger. People are faster. You thought you was faster than everybody you lined up against in college, but guess what? Everybody else you line up against now pretty much has the same speed. So it's like you don't have the clear-cut advantage that you thought you once did. So now it's up to you to sharpen those tools and work on your craft to where you can get some separation and be better than the competition. That's what he's going to have to do to be successful. That's what we've been preaching for with Mozzie Smith. He's showing improvement. Hey, dude, I need you to be more consistent. I need your motor to be high till it cut off. You know what I'm saying? I don't need you taking plays off. Be consistent. Clark, I also believe, will help the development of Mozzie. It takes the pressure off. It spells him in the endurance aspect because Mozzie would start out the game okay, and then as he gets worn down over the course of the game, now you gassed. Whereas if you got Clark taking the brunt of maybe the first half, and then you got a fresh Mozzie coming in, that could potentially be not necessarily a difference maker, but it could be an influence,
Players play better when they have better talent around them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just in general. Like players, look at that. Jalen Carter got a lot of people paid last year. You know what I'm saying? He got plenty paid more money. He got Milk paid more money. And it's like I understand the double team. And like I said, he never missed a down. And you cannot because there's very few defensive people in general that play every down. Very few in the league. You know what I'm saying? So giving him that. I'm not saying he's not generational. I just want to see it come to full center. I want to see that flower bloom, this year. You know what I'm saying? Before I be like, oh, yeah, he's the best DT of all time. And once he gets there, I will hype him up and being the best DT of all time, baby. You know how I like to do that. I like to do that. Jalen Hurts is the best. Saquon is the best. AJ's the best. you know. But I want to see
Yeah.
him hit that road, and that's why. But I really said it. Like another thing is like this year, you might even see the rise of Jordan Davis. Like I said, like that's my biggest like sneak player going into this season. I don't think everybody's given enough appreciation to. But I think he worked hard for 3 years now, 4 years now. I think you're about to see the real Jordan Davis. You know, like with the real Jordan Davis, please stand up. He's about to stand up right now. And this is going to be his season where you see him get, I'm predicting at least 6 sacks. You know what I'm saying? 6 to 8 sacks throughout the regular season to really make his presence felt because you can't be that big and that fast and that athletic, and not be a disruptive force, Ever since a rookie, he's been stopping the run, like that part of his game. You hear
Yeah.
the Eagles fan all the time talk about we didn't draft the first round just to stop the run. I'm like, yes, we did actually. That's exactly why we drafted him. When we drafted him, because we couldn't stop the run. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the reason we picked this guy up. And for you guys to expect him to do more, you remember the first year we drafted him, right? We were top 5 in run stopping defense, right? And then he got hurt. What happened to
Yep.
our team? Went straight down the tube. People were just running the
Ball
ball all left
down.
and right on us.
Yep.
We went out and got Dominican Stu. We went out and got Limbaugh Joseph. We went out and got all these veteran guys to try to plug a hole that was left by him. That's big praise to me when you got to go get 2 Pro Bowler type caliber guys to try to help fill the role, and they couldn't even stop the run the same way. Dominican
Facts.
Sue and Limbaugh didn't do as good as a job as Jordan Davis does when he's in the game. When he's in the game, we are top 5 every time. Like you know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about people talk about his endurance, his stamina, whatnot. I tell them like it's kind of like Jalen Hurts. You need him when you need him. He's there. You know what I'm saying? We play all these pass happy teams. You might not see Jordan Davis play but 30% of the snaps. You know what I'm saying? Because we play a pass happy team. What do you need to be in there for? He's not a pass rusher. But when we play like the Ravens, when we play like guys to have dominating run games, he's playing over 50% of the snaps of those games. And we are stopping the best running backs in the league. So it's like he's been doing this job from day one. A lot of Eagle fans be like twisted on that. They be like, well, what is he really worth? It's like, man, you better resign this cat ASAP. You know what I'm saying? So he can be anchored in this defensive line for the next like 5 years. You're tripping out on that.
Bro, that's just a testament to the league because you look around like you look at this year's draft. Teams that had a decent back were still drafting backs, which is why I don't know why we really waited as long as we did. But hey, I digress.
Have you heard anything about Blue? Because I want to draft Blue too on the Eagles this year. How Blue doing over there?
I think Blue is good. We did see him in the last preseason game. He showed some flash. But as far as depth chart, they got him behind. He's behind Javonte and behind Miles. So they may use him sparingly. He's also back up to Turp as far as special teams return guy as well. So he might see some action there if they kind of want to maybe
And since
preserve.
you guys don't really have a star like bona fide like number one RB, he got a chance just as much as the other 2 guys to be
He
the man
does.
this year. You know what I'm
And
saying? Like,
honestly, I don't have a preference, but at the end of the day, I want Shoddy to feed whoever is hot.
so that's
If
what he
they
likes
hot,
to do. Shy likes to run the run. He likes to run that ball. That's what he likes to do. He likes to run
that's
that
what
football.
honestly that's what we've missed the last couple years. Like,
Yeah.
and I look at Jalen Hurts and he's able to be as cool, calm, and collective as he is because of the weapons. And then you invested in him a run game. I ain't even got to throw for 200. I'll be cool too. It makes a difference when you can lean on that. I don't have to force. I don't have to generate and create everything. That's what I want Shoddy in this offense to understand. Look, yeah, I know Four is top paid quarterback in the league, whatever, however you want to slice it and look at it. But you do not have to put all of the weight on Dak Prescott. You don't. Because when you do that, that's how you end up running them into the ground. That's how you end up having him forcing and making mistakes, turning the ball over. And then after Dak turn it over like 2 or 3 times, then he get in his head. and he's pretty much garbage for the rest of the game. You got to
I
get
like to
him to
call him Tony Romo 2.0. Until
now
he
when they
can win those
rolling,
playoff games,
when they rolling, they're great. But it's like when they off their game, they
they
can be
are.
horrible. They off. It's like it
Yeah.
don't really in between. It's like he's either great or not. And I'm like, man, come on.
Right?
But he can
Because
be
that
the
was
best
Dak. People don't realize, dude, Dak was
run.
another quarterback I wanted on the Eagles. When we drafted Carson Wentz, I want us not to draft Carson and wait and grab Dak, the next round or two. And it didn't happen that way. We ended up with Carson Wentz. But I'm saying, like, Dak is guy. But I'm just like, I just get the Tony Romo vibes from him. Like regular season all day. But when it comes to crunch time, visions on the line, first, second round of playoffs, it's like, man, he just turns to a whole nother cat.
It's because in the games we lost, it's because we forgot about this. We
Yeah, they
forgot how
hand it
to
off.
do this. And it's like then you put all that weight on him. He get in his head. He get to having that deer in headlights look, sitting at the end of the bench by himself, and then it's like, yeah, it's only gets worse from here. But the
And
run
it's not
game,
really his fault, I don't think. I just think that's just the way of the league. Like we were talking about earlier, everybody wants to pass. Like I feel like offensive
the
coordinators feel
league
like
is
they're
transitioning. That's
yeah.
why you call it successful is because you invested ahead of time what was going to negate a lot of these offenses. Yeah, I know a lot of people for a long time said it's a passing league, but pay attention. It is slowly reverting back to investing in the run game. People forgot about it.
I
But
feel like it never left.
Vince,
Because even when the Chiefs won those Super Bowls, you gotta realize Pacheco had great years that year. Those years, Hunt had good years with him. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the Bills, when the Bills get the farthest, Cooks had great years. The Ravens, obviously, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson running all over the place. Last year, in general, the top three backs, their teams all went to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like
it was rare though. It was only a couple teams doing it. Like you had teams who would have success, like us, during the regular season with the pass. Then you get to the playoffs, it get cold, and now you can't muster up drives because you don't have a commitment to the run game. The teams who have been successful, even if they didn't have crazy gaudy rushing yards, just having that commitment and being balanced is what helped those quarterbacks, what kept those defenses on their heels, not just being able to tee off.
Because people don't realize the run sets up the pass. I feel like for a low tide, they try to make the pass set up the run. It don't really work that way. The run sets up the pass every time. You got to run a game, you got to pass the game. There's very few running teams that can run the ball really good that can't pass the football, unless they have crappy ass receivers. You know what I'm saying?
Or QB.
Or a horrible quarterback that can't throw the football.
Right.
Most times, if you got a good quarterback, good receivers, you run that football first, you definitely gonna have a nice offense moving forward. Because it's always been that way. Times never change. It's always the same. No matter what the NFL wants to go to, no matter what, there's always gonna be the running back. You know what I'm saying? The running back is a position you can never leave out of your offense. Whenever we tried to do that, that's what happened to us after the first Super Bowl. We tried to eliminate the running back and try to throw the ball 50, 60 times a game. And we look like trash. Who the hell is going to throw the football 50 times a game from picks to just 3 and outs? All that stuff is just putting too much wear and tear on your defense. You got to run the ball. Let your defense get healthy. Let your defensive coordinators scheme up new defenses to stop these offenses. And until you do that, you're going to lose. You're going to be like the Bengals, right? Have the best passing game in the NFL and suck. Make that make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like you're the best passer, you got the number one quarterback, 5,000 yards, and you trash. Because all you're doing is passing the ball. You put your defense in harmful ways. Even if you throw it down 2 seconds and your defense is back on the field again, you never ever controlling the clock. Clock management is really big in the NFL. You get it down, man. But we almost at 2 hours, man. Hey, salute to you for coming out. Shout out to 50 still up in here, man. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. All links are inside the description. Before we get out of here, I want to ask you, give me your 3 hot takes of this game. Play devil's advocate. If the Eagles win, it's going to be because why? And what does it take for the Cowboys to win? And then give me a score prediction.
If the Eagles win, it's going to be because they were disciplined. they were focused, and they were physical. I'm just keeping it all the way funky. That's you all's those three things together is you all's superpower. You have the focus, you're physical. You know, we've seen what y'all have done to teams in the playoff just as far as the physicality. Y'all have a bravado, a swagger. Honestly, I'm envious of because in a lot of instances, things in Dallas can be corporate. It can have heavy political influence, if you will, and in some instances, man, too, it just they promote where they put the dollar. So I definitely respect my opponent. Former player of the game. That's how it was drilled into me by my coaches. That's how it was drilled into me by my favorite and ultimate coach, my father. Um, but three crazy hot takes. And I done heard some of y'all's too, so I got some funky ones myself.
Yeah.
First one. Boyz bash Barkley. Okay. That's the crazy one. We completely bottle him up under 100 yards. Second one. Cowboys shock the world with a heavy dose of run game and put up over 150 yards on the ground as they go to victory against the Eagles. That's my second one. Now, the third one is honestly probably, if I had to choose, the most likely, but it's the Boyz burn the birds. That's right. Through the air, dynamic duo, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Dak Prescott. They make it happen. Realistically speaking, my Cowboys win. I don't think it'll be as high scoring as people may think in this week one matchup. I believe the second meeting will probably be a little bit higher scoring, but this one here, final score, Cowboys pull it out 24-17.
Woo! I heard two Cowboy wins so far. I don't know. Where may you pass that? Lord. I like
That's
it though. I
if.
like it.
That's if. That's if.
I got you. I
We
got
have
you.
the
I feel you.
commitment to the run game. We have balance. We don't lose sight of that. And
And I
if my
told you
defense
that
can
could be
be
the thing that
disciplined,
everybody's sleeping on.
if we can
I
be
think,
disciplined, because the way y'all offense operates, you make a mistake, that's your ass.
yeah.
Okay,
Facts.
you get caught peeking in the backfield, that's your ass. Ball going over your head. You know what I'm saying? You playing off too much. Whoop, they're under you. You catch a block in the seam and the crease, is all to the races. So
Yeah.
again, that I'm not saying it lightly, like we just gonna handle our business and just make mincemeat of the defending champions. I got to respectfully say that, as much as I hate to, but
Don't worry,
I
guys.
don't think it's what most people think it is, as the Cowboys don't have a chance at hell. I believe we got more of a chance than most people think. But that's going to be dependent upon being disciplined, being physical, meeting force with force. And at the end of the day, for what we have invested in, it's got to be a win for us in the trench department, because as y'all know, everything else follows after that. I appreciate Bird Gang for reaching out. I definitely have been I'm still new to the content world, only been in this for about a year. Now, I was doing watch parties with Boss Cowboy, for the last couple of years, just because I wanted to support the nation. And then I said, you know what? It got to a point to where content chose me. And I said, you know what? I'm in too nice of a man cave with the setup that I have to not be able to
Facts.
take advantage and push my channel, push my squad. And I'm gonna leave it how I leave in every broadcast I do. Again, thank you again for the invitation. This is definitely not going to be the last time that we work together. But ladies and gentlemen, y'all know what it is. It is Mr. Always Making Plays. Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good becomes your better and your better becomes your best. Until next time, y'all be blessed.
Hey, peace out, my guy. Oh, you got the smoke. You got the
All season
smoke.
long. I want it all.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, definitely got to get some work in. And like I said, I am looking to rejoin the revamp up the network, my guy. We need some cowboy creators. Got some Washington creators coming. You know, if you ever looking for something to help me out, man. You know, Boy for Life was one of my, Cowboys creators on the network, but he retired when he had a baby. So, I know how that be.
You
You
like
know
that.
what I'm saying? I got five of them things out there, so I know exactly how that is. So
I got you. I got my kids' artwork behind me.
right, exactly. So I'm gonna give you guys my hot takes. I'm gonna play devil's advocate first before I give my hot take. My devil's advocate is that I really think people are sleeping on the Cowboys' run game. You know, because I think the Cowboys kind of been suspect in it for the last couple years with all the draft capital and like the moves that they made at that position. It could possibly come back this year. You went out, you got a Javante Williams right from Denver who played some nice football, you know what I'm saying, over there in Denver, to my house city. But then you got like I said, Boobie Miles, and then you dropped the guy at Blue. I think this first game, I can't speak for the Cowboys go out the season. For this first game, like I think people might be sleeping on it a little bit. They worried about CD, they're worried about Pickens. They think that that's the only shot you guys have to win. And I feel like devil's advocate, if this is a close game, or if you guys were to upset us, which I don't have at England thinking it's going to happen. But if it was, because like you said, the run game goes crazy, and I think Boobie's that type of back. People. I made a video about this. I don't know if you guys see. I made a video about this Miles Sanders guy, like probably like 3 weeks ago. It was my whole like it had him half of it Dallas jersey, half Eagle jersey. And it was just that one thing. Like he's taking everything personally. And I don't know, being a running back myself, you know what I'm saying? If you trade, you don't pay me, you don't give
Boy,
me
that
what
man
I
been
need,
running angry, boy.
you let me go, my guy. I'm coming back for you. I might not play good the whole damn season, but against you, I'm about to show up and I'm about to show out. Coach, you might not want to start me, but guess what? By the second quarter, you're gonna finish me off because I'll be running all up their ass. You know what I'm saying? I really feel like you gotta watch out for that because I remember seeing a Deshaun Jackson come back to Philadelphia light us up. You know what I'm saying? I remember seeing a
Yeah.
Donovan Nab light us up. I remember seeing players leave and come back and light us up. And I think that he could definitely be the next Deshaun Jackson in terms of like he might not be the best running back throughout the year, but against Philadelphia is personal. And
Yeah.
he can definitely light us up. So that's my devil's advocate for you guys. That's one to make you Cowboy fans feel good about it. Hey, you guys got a shot. If that happens, I don't think it's really going to happen. My three hot takes for this game, my guy, is Saquon Barkley is coming back and he's going to get 2K again this year and it's starting with the Cowboys. The first game of the season, he's going to have 2 touchdowns, 200 yards rushing. It's going to be one of them ball magic game control games. You think we're going to go try to air it out to AJ, Smitty, and all that stuff. We're just going to chill out. We're going to come and we're going to be possession after possession. Just hand the ball to Saquon. Let him do his thing until you can't. Because I feel like this. Everybody keep questioning, can he do it again? I said, why can't he? Everybody last year tried to stop him. You act like we didn't play 20 games of football last year, or 20 different weeks you didn't have to try to figure out how to stop Saquon Barkley. Like every team didn't go to every game last year trying to stop Saquon Barkley. You know what I'm saying? Like that was their whole mission. And then everybody say, "Oh, well, the Chiefs did it in the Super Bowl." The Chiefs didn't in the Super Bowl. It's just that's when we flipped it on them. They're like, "Oh, you won't waste all your energy worried about Saquon because he just lit up the whole playoffs, 200 yards here, 100 there." Guess what? I already know what you're about to spend your nights staying up doing, and that's trying to stop the run. So guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna run the ball a couple times. We're just gonna air it out the rest of the game. And Jalen Hurts can throw the ball, man. People are tripping off that. So I think Saquon has a monster game, a 200-yard game to start out the season against the Cowboys. He got 2,000 on you guys. He's gonna start on his next 2,000 on you guys with 2 to 3 touchdowns. That's one hot take. I think our defense sacks Dak Prescott. How many rookies you guys got on that offensive line?
Nope,
Two,
just
and then
one.
one with what 2 second year players on there?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I'm thinking this defensive line is going to get at least 6 sacks in the first game of the season.
Man, I got a button for that. Hold on. I got a button for that.
Hell no. Fuck no. Fuck no.
It's going to happen. Six. I got a button for that. Hell no. Here we go. I'm telling you, Jalen Carter, Noah Smith, Jalen Son, and my boy, Jahad Campbell from Alabama finally gets to hit somebody besides his own team and give them concussions. And he's going to be
If
out there
that
doing the damn thing.
happens, if that happens, we got way bigger problems than we thought we did.
No, you don't, though. Like, I want the Cowboy Nation to understand one thing. When we lay it to smack it down on your candy ass this week, don't feel bad like it's the end of the season. You're playing the best team in the league, my guy. We're the number one. We're top honcho. So only thing you can do from there is go up because you already played the best. You know what the rest bring to you. Now you can take that game tape and worry about how you get better from there on out. You know what I'm saying? So that's my second hot take. My third hot take is this game is over at halftime, like the Super Bowl. Like this shit is not gonna be close. It's not gonna be.
It's gonna be over with a half.
Just like the Super Bowl, my guy. It's gonna be over at the halftime. You're gonna see Tanner McGee won't play, but you see a Sam Howell. You guys used to him. He played for the Commanders back in the day. You'll see Sam Howell in the game with some Shipley, some Corey. Yeah, not Corey Dillon, but AJ Dillon. You know, you're gonna see all these guys. You know, Cooper. Oh, we got Darius Cooper on our team who plays some good ball. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see all these cats. They're gonna definitely begin to BT this game because this game's not gonna be close. You guys messed up when you traded, but y'all should have traded Mike like 2 weeks ago, and then I'll be a little bit more worried about it. Y'all traded wait till game week
a couple months ago.
You wait the game week and then you trade them. That's where y'all really messed up. And like I said, I'm not speaking on the next game that we play you guys, but I'm speaking on this one. This is about to be BTA. Belt the ass. And we're about to go out there. We have to unreveal this championship trophy. You know what I'm saying? The banner's about to drop on your head. And we are on road to back-to-back championship season this year, my guys. So that's what I feel about the Eagles. Score is going to be 42-14, 17, whatever you want to do. I don't know. Dak is really good at garbage time, so maybe it's 42-21, so kind of like the Super Bowl or whatnot, you know. So it's going to be ugly, and then it's going to, you know, Dak's going to do his garbage time touchdowns and stuff like that. So he's going to get his yards and stats in, and, you know, he's going to get some touchdowns on the board there at the end of the game. So, hey, it is what it is. It's only week 1. Like I said, we can come back again in a couple of weeks. When we play each other the second time around? Is that not to like week 8 or something like that?
Actually, it's kind of early. Like I was like, God dang, by the middle of the season, we done. That date is Oh wow, my daughter's birthday, November 23rd.
So what week is that?
That's that's like week 13. No. Nah. It might be a little. I think that's like week 11, week 12.
11, yeah. All right, then, yeah. See, so by then, that's be a whole nother story. We already know both of our teams right then, but right now, the confidence is high, baby. We are Eagles Nation. We're gonna do what we do, and it's gonna be great. I love it, man. Hey, man, but salute to you, my guy. You know, thanks again. Like I said, the network's always open to you, my guy. If you ever want to collab 101, let me know. I want to get I'm starting to see all these NFC East, roundtables going out, you know what I'm saying, every week. And I got some other guys that are giant and stuff. We need to get something going, my guy. Let's keep it going. I'm going to be working some content this year. Fans, I'm back. This is actually the first show I feel like it really told me I need to be back, you know what I'm saying? Because I love this truth. I love JC. He's my brother from another mother, but I need to come back with some more single content this year, and I'm definitely going to come hard this year that the season's going on, and we're going to do our damn thing, man. So Like I always say at the end of my videos, fly, Eagles, fly. And we out. I'm gonna leave you on another Cowboys clip.
Ranked him third in the NFC.
Hurts. Everything else you can throw in the middle of the field or outside.
Able to shake off the pressure. Fires to the end zone, and it's caught by Dallas Goedert.